But one of the reasons why that people can't see the power behind the automated savings is because they don't have a big enough vision of the future that actually excites them, that they know that the automated savings is a part of that actual vision. So they don't actually know where they're going. So they're chasing the latest and greatest things in hopes to find where they're going to get when they actually have no idea where they want to go.
Where does, with the clients that you have today and the clients that you want to have, so where does most wealth leak? Like, what's one tiny hinge you've seen like swing open a huge financial door for your clients?
Yeah, this is going to sound so simple that people always discount this one, but it's just automate your savings. Make it so that when money lands, you should do this on the business and personal side. So when money lands, it automatically gets distributed to profits, automatically gets distributed to spending and saving. If you can do that, you will capture millions of dollars over your lifetime that you would have spent unconsciously. That to me is like one of the biggest things that people just discount as like this thing that you don't have to do, but it's so easy to set up. It takes 30 minutes to an hour, and then it's just monitoring it, but it prevents Parkinson's law from ever coming into situation to taking in your earned cash. But that's one of the biggest, that's a leak because you're unconsciously doing it. You wouldn't have spent it. You just did it anyway, just because your unconscious self told yourself to do it.
And basically pay yourself first, but do it in a way where it's set up on autopilot so that you don't ruin the concept of pay yourself first.
Correct. Yes, correct. Let computers do it for you. Take away your personal behavior from it. Help your discipline by using technology.
And I can attest to that. I'm living proof that works remarkably well. Remarkably well. Thank you for sharing that tip. And sometimes it's the most simple things, right, that have the largest impact. And that's why it can be so easy to overlook it, especially for entrepreneurs who love being in a position of control and might have some degree of hesitation or difficulty saying, well, I've got to take a look at every penny that's flowing through my life and make decisions around it versus pick a percentage that makes good sense for you and set that aside automatically. And it piles up quickly.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons, Jayson, is it's not very sexy.
Correct.
Versus hearing about the next greatest sliced bread toaster, Bitcoin machine mining scenario, which is like, oh, that sounds really interesting and intriguing and fascinating. And it's that shiny object syndrome that I think pulls people and therefore their money away from their control. Whereas the simple effort of taking the initiative to automate a savings mechanism out of cash flow is pretty boring, to be honest. And because of that, it doesn't fire our synapses a whole heck of a lot. And once it's done, it's basically done other than monitoring, like you indicated, Justin. So there's not an ongoing thrill involved with that aspect. And I think some people unconsciously sabotage themselves because they're not getting the fix that they need on that excitement level.
Mm. And I would propose, this is just a recent thought, I don't know if it's true, but one of the reasons why that people can't see the power behind the automated savings is because they don't have a big enough vision of the future that actually excites them, that they know that the automated savings is a part of that actual vision. So they don't actually know where they're going. So they're chasing the latest and greatest things in hopes to find where they're going to get when they actually have no idea where they want to go.
That's where in our circle, the R factor question that Dan Sullivan, pioneered of Strategic Coach, all the credit to Dan and to his team. And that's one thing that with any entrepreneur, with any individual, with any couple that, we're blessed to serve, we ask them that question. If we were to have a future forward conversation, so if we were sitting down, this is being recorded on June the 13th, if we were sitting down June the 13th, 2028, and we were to look back over those 3 years to today, what specifically would have had to have happened in order for you to feel remarkably happy with your progress? And the human brain, as we've shared many times, requires a very high degree of specificity. The human brain is really not capable of doing anything extraordinary. That's why most people's goals are just bumper stickers. I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want to be healthy. I want to be successful. Your brain goes, I don't have to pay any attention or do anything with with any of that. Whereas if you're mapping it out with a very high degree of specificity, your brain begins to immediately get to work on making it real, because the brain cannot distinguish between imaginary and reality. So why not imagine your bigger future? Like, it's so incredibly effective. And this takes me to, I read something recently that you had posted around operating opportunistically versus start operating with orchestration. So you're helping business owners to do that. What does that orchestration actually look like in the real world?
Yeah, so the orchestration that we try to bring into this is we want to remind on some, I'm going to take one step back just to kind of explain the opportunistically thing. Lots of conversations I've had with business owners is that they take advantage of opportunities that just fall in their lap, and it gets them places. Like, they'll go to an event, they'll hear a speaker, and it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have had that a long time ago. Just fell in their lap. Or a competitor is going out of business and they acquired them and it just fell in their lap. They didn't do it on purpose. It just was like this happenstance thing that came about. And I believe that that's how people they're opportunistically taking advantage of their taxes, around their wealth, around the way they spend money. And so it just is, it's fairly like, if it happens, it happens. I'm not leading the ship. It just happens organically. It was occur to me. The problem with that model, in my opinion, is that it's likely that people that are going to sell you financial products, for example, are going to want to view your business as like the ATM or the cash flow that's then going to buy other people's assets and build your wealth.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a very true state. Like, you should be doing that, but it's the lens that's the problem, in my opinion. The lens is that you're actually just, all you've done, because that's what all W-2 employees have to build wealth that way. If they're not entrepreneurially driven, they have to take a portion of their paycheck, buy other people's assets, and then the other people's assets are going to grow over time. And eventually, hopefully, they'll produce cash flow for me, and I'll be able to replicate my income from my business or from my job. And there it is. That's the lens that the vast majority of people are being sold. And I believe that's very opportunistically handled. Is what I want to help people view, and the centerpiece of all of this is, you have to put your business and start seeing it not just as a business, but an asset. It has valuation, it has value, it can be sold. So yes, it can supply cash flow to you, and then that cash flow can buy other people's assets. But if you don't first view your business as an asset that you have the most control over, that you can actually sell someday and be a part of the statistics that on the other side where most people don't sell, you actually now can control a lot more of your wealth, which is the whole reason why entrepreneurs often start in the first place, is they wanted to build their own wealth, but they're ignoring their business as the actual asset to get them there. So everything starts around that. So that has to sit in the center of, that's a part of and intertwined into all wealth strategy. So now it's coordinating, if this is an asset, I want to reduce his expenses. Taxes are on expenses on that asset.
We have a ton more amazing conversations and great clips just like this if you go right here. Or if you want to watch the rest of this conversation, the full episode, click right here.